Welcome to Subramani. This is perhaps the best time to be a venture capitalist or maybe even a vulture capitalist, especially if you're sitting with a lot of money and wanting to invest. Why am I saying this? Because for the startup industry, we are perhaps at the nadir of the startup industry. Many people who started have not done well and they have shut down, and our sky high valuations have taken a drop. Right, look at even my language. I said sky high valuation because somewhere there's a heartburn that they were getting too much, maybe. So we are people who are in our 60s, 50s and 60s, so not so much in the 40s. We were brought up during Indira Gandhi times, and Indira Gandhi times meant the rich man was bad. Every speech she would say Tata Birla, right? Tata Birla and the US, or Tata Birla and the foreign hand. We never understood what is the foreign hand, we still haven't. But we were constantly told that being successful is bad, having money is bad, because I think maybe she wanted all the money for herself. Having said that, therefore we also do one more thing. We are happy to praise somebody who is successful a little bit, and then when that person fails, we stomp all over him or her, and then they say, oh, see, we knew this would happen. We are very happy when somebody fails. Horrible atmosphere for a startup. Also, we are a $2,000 per capita country, and we constantly compare ourselves to a $45,000 per capita. Even if you catch up with the US in terms of GDP 30, 40, 50 years later, catching up with US in terms of per capita is not going to happen, right? It's going to take a few centuries perhaps. Okay, I'm over guessing. I'm not even getting into that game, but look at the atmosphere we have for a venture capital or even for a startup. We just don't have the stomach for it. So right now, when there is, 2023 or 22, 23 have been particularly bad. No new unicorns, nothing has happened, no great funding has been announced. If anything, Byju's valuation and ranking has gone down, so we are happy to catch that boy and stamp him as a failure. He's horrible, terrible, this is not things to do, right? The same bankers who lent money to him will now say, oh, this is what he was doing, this is wrong. We are very happy, very, very happy to build graveyards and crematoriums for our entrepreneurs. We are our legal system, let's say our company law, does not allow for any type of equity other than equity shares. There are no other types of fundraising possible for the owner. So there is no differential voting rights or equity 1, equity 2, equity 3, preference 1, preference 2, nothing of that sort, which means a guy, when he really builds a company, the company goes out of his hand, like Flipkart. Could the owner have stayed on for a longer period? No. With this kind of valuation and the kind of money that he was getting, no, he couldn't have stayed longer. Can the owner of Ola stay with Ola for long enough? It is extremely doubtful. At some stage, if it is really successful and needs more money, he'll just have to give it up. Are we building anything of great value to the world? Please understand, we will build what is of great value to India. UPI was built in India for India. Now it is taking on the MasterCard and Visa of the world, right? Go out and see the service industry in India. Look at the hotels, look at the airlines, look at the lounges in airports. I think the kids working there are doing a fantastic job. Compare it internationally. I'm not even saying compare Bombay to Delhi. Compare Bombay to Heathrow, compare Bombay to US, and you will find our malls are much better managed than the ones even in the US, right? We've got used to saying, oh, the white man is better. Go there, have a look. Go to Europe, have a look. Go to US, have a look, and come to your own conclusions. Now, talking of venture capital, we are not in a great atmosphere for venture capital to be successful because we just want people to fail. We have built good apps for our country. We have not. So the question would be, why are we not built Facebook? Why have we not built anything else? Just pick up. Why we don't have a company like Apple? It requires tremendous amount of money. Please understand, Indigo is not a startup. 17 years somebody has funded it, right? Yes, of course, the company has gone public a few years ago, but somebody has funded it for such a long time. It takes very deep pockets to go to do a startup. That is another reason why you should build money for your children, so that the children at least have the guts to do a startup, right? So if my daughter were to do a startup, at least she does not have to worry for a roof on her head and food on the table. That basics will be taken care of by her equity dividend. So it is necessary to build wealth for your children, so that children can think in terms of startup. We will not do that. We will then come to some great thing. Oh, if you give money, children will get spoiled, right? Children won't get spoiled. Children have more options. It's like if I have 10 days to go from Bombay to Delhi, I have lots of options. I can run, I can walk, I can cycle, I can take a bullock cart, I can do whatever I want. I will still be able to reach in 10 days, right? Or I can take a train, or I can take a plane. If I have only 2 hours, then I have to take a plane. I don't have a choice. So please understand, children having money is children having more options of what businesses they want to do, whether they want to do business at all, right? So don't celebrate failure. People who have not seen a startup are celebrating failure. To me, when I see a startup fail and that person go and taking up a job, my heart chokes. Something that the kid wanted to do is not able to do. Not every startup comes with the same kind of devotion which kids bring in, but some of these kids bring in tremendous amount of dedication to what they are doing. Not everybody is doing a startup to sell it. Yes, many of them are. Maybe 50% is, maybe 60% is, but remaining 40% is not. They are sitting here trying to make something useful for you. Everything is so useful. My wife does not have to lift a finger to get anything in this country. The kind of services that we get, whether it is medicine, whether it is vegetable, whether it is ready food, anything that you want, and we can call up the vegetable vendor, the sabzi wala, and say, sir, आप ये जरा जल्दी भेज दीजिए, I want to cook now, and it comes to you in 20 minutes. Believe me, this kind of service is not available in the US. Wake up. Don't look at one Apple and one Google and say they've created value. Yes, at the big level, yes. But if you are staying in any of the US cities, or even worse, the smaller cities, you just don't have this kind of service industry which we have built up. Right? Of course, we have built up the apps. There is an app for vegetables, there is an app for milk, there is an app for groceries, for medicines, for everything. There is just, you press some buttons and it gets delivered to you. You don't have this kind of thing happening in the US. So wake up. Indian business kids are building businesses for India. Encourage them. Maybe their valuations are right, valuations are wrong. We can get into argument about it, but what they are doing is a great job. They're building for India. They are doing let me be politically correct. They're building for Bharat, and they are doing a good job. And we should now be funding them rather than sitting and cribbing that they have failed. You should be happy that they have at least started, right? So if you are one person who says, oh, my son has failed in this business, then your son should not be in business. If you say my son did paper business and the business failed, which means he gets a chance to redo something. Very few Indian parents want to give the kids a second chance. I've seen parents who are very happy. Thank God, nothing happened in that business. Now he has taken up a job in Citibank or Hindustan Lever or something like that, and they're very happy. We have got to get out of this attitude that working for a big MNC is a great thing. It is a good thing. I'm not saying no, you will learn best practices, all that is true. But being on your own, whether you succeed or fail, I think is much better. Thank you.